Welcome to Inspire the Next Mind by Fazoo's AI. Today, we're going to talk about something huge, something that affects almost every single person working in tech. How do you actually connect all that brilliant, complex work you do to the real bottom-line impact on the business? Let's get into it. You know, for so many tech teams, it feels like you're on an island. You're seen as a cost center, right? A department that just fixes things or builds what you're told. But you're kind of disconnected from the real mission. You're working your tail off, but that line between your code and the company's big win, it feels fuzzy, to say the least. I mean, really think about it. You spend all day wrestling with these incredibly tough problems, but at the end of the quarter, does it feel like you actually move the needle on what the business really cares about? Look, if that sounds familiar, trust me, you are not alone. And let's be super clear about this. This isn't because people aren't working hard enough or aren't smart enough. No way. It's a failure of alignment. It's a communication breakdown between what the company wants to achieve and what the tech teams are actually spending their time on. So, how do we fix it? Well, the answer is a really simple but incredibly powerful framework called OKRs. That's Objectives and Key Results. It's been made famous by giants like Intel and Google, and it's basically the bridge designed to close that gap for good. Now, here's the thing you got to understand. OKRs are not just another project management tool. It is not a glorified to-do list. It's a thinking framework. It forces this massive shift from just, doing tasks to really understanding why you're doing them in the first place. And to really get OKRs, you have to wrap your head around one core idea: the huge difference between outputs and outcomes. This is the absolute heart of the whole thing, and it's made up of two super simple parts. First up, you've got the objective. This is your what. It's that big, exciting, memorable goal. It shouldn't be some dry metric, right? It's your moonshot. It's the direction you want to go, and it's written in a way that actually gets the whole team fired up. Then you have your key results. This is your how. Okay, how are we going to know we're actually getting there? Your KRs have to be measurable, verifiable outcomes that prove you're making real progress. If you hit your key results, then you've achieved your objective. Simple as that. And this right here, this is where the magic happens. Look at this. The task, the output, is deploy the new user profile microservice. Cool. You did a thing. You checked a box. But the key result, the outcome, is reduce user profile page load time. See the difference? It's not about what you did. It's about the change you created. That's the leap from just being busy to being truly effective. All right, let's make this real. Theory is fine, but stories are where it really clicks. Let's take a look at a pretty typical DevOps team and see how this framework completely changed the game for them. So before OKRs, this team was busy. I mean, really busy. Their to-do list looked something like this: migrate the database, build a new pipeline, put out a ton of fires. They were working hard, for sure, checking off all the boxes on their list. But here's the frustrating part, right? At the end of the quarter, they'd done it all. They'd finished their list. And yet, the CEO is still asking, hey, why is the site so slow? Why are our cloud costs going through the roof? All that effort, and it felt totally disconnected from what the leadership actually cared about. Now, check out the after. The team completely reframes their work. They start with a clear, inspiring objective, and then look at those key results. They are direct, measurable answers to the CEO's questions. They're focused on making things faster, more stable, and cheaper. And this is the game changer. Migrating the database isn't just a task on a list anymore. No, it's a strategic move they're making to hit key result number 1, to improve that API speed. Building that CI/CD pipeline, that's how they're going to crush key result number 2 and reduce incidents. Every single technical decision suddenly has a clear purpose. So why is this so empowering, especially for us tech folks? It's way more than just getting credit for your work. It actually changes how you operate, for the better. This framework really unlocks 4 massive wins for tech teams. It gives you autonomy while making sure you're aligned. It forces you to focus on the why. It encourages you to shoot for the stars with aspirational goals. And it helps build a culture that runs on data, not just gut feelings. Let's talk about alignment through autonomy for a sec, because this is the secret sauce. Leadership points to the mountain they want the company to climb. That's the objective. But you, the team, the experts on the ground, you get to figure out the best way to get to the top. It totally respects your expertise while making sure everybody's climbing the same mountain. Another cool thing about OKRs is that they're supposed to be aspirational. The sweet spot for actually finishing them is around 70 or 80%. I know, right? If you're hitting 100% all the time, it means your goals just aren't ambitious enough. This gives teams the freedom to try big things, to go for those massive wins without being terrified of failure. When you start working this way, your entire role transforms. You stop being just a ticket taker, passively waiting for the next assignment. You become a proactive goal driver. You become a strategic partner who's actively shaping the success of the whole company. I mean, this is the dream, isn't it? Just imagine a world where every single line of code you write, every system you design, can be traced directly back to a major business goal. That is what true alignment feels like. That is true impact. So I'll just leave you with this one question. The next time you're planning your work, instead of asking what feature you're going to build, ask yourself, what outcome will you drive next?